Hey guys, Plasma 1945 taking off on Growling Sidewinder with Red Star Boris. Yes, it's an RS 2-ship flight up north from Tbilisi all the way to Beslan. And Boris is going to make the landing, but there's going to be a few minutes of hell on the way. Alright guys, so the idea here is that I am air defense protecting Boris in his frogfoot from enemy aircraft. And that's one of the key things about flying in a mixed team like this, providing air cover, is that you need to know the capabilities of your aircraft that you're protecting and how you can help. So a couple of ways that you can help an Su-25. First off, by maneuvering, flying faster and higher, and employing air-to-air weapons. I am loaded up with 2 ERs, 2 ETs, and I believe maybe 277s as well as 273s. Boris has unguided rockets and 2 R60s. He is not very air-to-air capable. Also, his airplane's great taking missiles from ground units and AA fire, but honestly, you try to dogfight in an Su-25 and unless your name is Valak, you're going to have a really bad time. The maneuverability of an Su-25 is not the best. Alright, now the other thing that Boris is missing is, although Boris has an RWR just like I do, he does not have any sort of data link, so he is literally relying on me to provide aircraft cover against enemy aircraft, situational awareness. I gotta tell him where the enemies are coming from, because AWACS is only going to tell him about one aircraft. On data link I see a couple of contacts to the north and to slightly to the left. Lock them up, and my first info to Boris is, Boris, break right by 20 degrees and take the next valley over. Boris is flying low, that's his whole mission. He's flying low, his job is to stay off of enemy data link so they can't find him. My job is to help him out. So we're going to speed up and get into the valley here as I try to hunt down this one aircraft. I'm constantly communicating to Boris. I'm telling him which course I'm flying and what I'm seeing on data link as well. Now, a minute in, flying through the valley, I didn't find that first aircraft, but I did detect 2 hostiles engaging a friendly in the valley across and over to the left. They're about 20 kilometers away, so at this point I'm going to roll in and try to take them out. Why? Because I can't have aircraft hanging around here. Keep something else in mind. We're about 30% of the way to Beslan at this point. You also have to be very careful not to draw attention to yourself, so that's why I'm flying low. I want to eliminate anybody's desire to come and look for me. Alright, here's the first aircraft. Got him locked. EO launch, missile on its way. He should have no idea the missile was coming. I did do an IFF because there was a dogfight happening there. And splash, bottom gun, F-18. I know bottom gun from earlier. He was the guy who was lagging around the screen a few months ago. Alright, rolling, doing vertical scans because there's supposed to be a second guy here in the valley in front of me. Not seeing him, watching the data link. If I were to switch to the VR helmet, you'd see my head just going back and forth from the HUD down to the right looking at data link. Got him popped up and trying to acquire him. There we go. I'm on his 6 o'clock. He's just behind those mountains and this guy's flying cold. I'm on his 6. I can't let him make a turn. I can't lose him. He might turn around and find Boris. Now Boris is flying parallel course over on my right by about 15 miles. He's taking the valleys north. He's very intermittently visible on data link, which is a good thing because if I can't see him, probably the enemies can't. This guy is an F-16. He just went into the mountains there and he just went over the crest of the mountains on the left side of my HUD. That's why I lost him. Trying to find him. I predicted he's going to pop up this way, and yes, he had just made a turn. So he hooked right in front of me, and there he is. Got him locked, and again, he goes behind the hills. Now, from the left side, there's a friendly coming in. Another F-16. Vertical scan lock. My radar is on, so I got an EO confirmation that it's a friendly. Second guy pops up even closer to me. He's almost on the friendly 6. Rolling in, one burst of 30mm and he's out of there. Alright guys, let's watch this in super slow motion. So I'm on his 6 o'clock. This is the view of the enemy aircraft. I'm right behind him, rolling in, got him locked. Put the circle on the circle, pull the trigger, and the rounds go where they're being sent to. cuts off the wing clean on the F-16. The pilot realizes he cannot recover and goes for a punch out. I've got no time for flares because I need to turn over to the right and get back to Boris, because Boris is about to crest the mountains and be in the valleys to Beslan. So as you can see on TAC view, in the bottom right hand corner, that's Boris. He's just climbing over the mountains. He's got a friendly with him, but I do need to reconnect with him. Also, there could be other aircraft patrolling the range between the first set of mountains to the north from Beslan and the large mountains that I'm flying over. So I do need to reconnect with my bomber to make sure that we are staying close to each other. This was quite a bit of separation. If something were to happen right now, I would not be able to go over and support him. I don't know if you noticed, but I was always within about 10, maximum 12 miles from Boris. Alright, picking up a little bit of RWR, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip under these clouds, and this is actually pretty neat that they added these low clouds in Growling Sidewinder. Makes transition from altitude to the deck quite challenging. Alright, I am cruising below the clouds, but I did get a data link update, and it looks like there is an enemy hostile that is taking off to the north and starting to come south. I do have the F10 capability, which is awesome because it shows you where your friendlies are on the map, and I know Boris is coming in from somewhere directly south of me. I communicate to Boris at this point and tell him, hey Boris, we've got a bandit coming in from the north. I need you to do a delayed turn here. Now, what does that mean? So Boris is coming through the hills, heading directly north towards me. I'm just up ahead of him. And what he needs to do is he needs to stick in this little valley that goes left and right, east and west, so that he does not fly directly into the bandit. Now, communication is key. He does not have data link. He's got bra calls, and he's all the way down there, so he may not have an idea, but I tell him, turn west, stay in the valley, don't cross this final ridge of mountains, and he does just that. I do the opposite. I get over the ridge, start rolling around and looking for the enemy aircraft. The enemy aircraft is coming in from Beslan, and my plane is now in position to get close. Now I do want to minimize my exposure, but I've already got his RWR on me from my 10 o'clock. So let's roll in and deal with this bandit. Looking at data link, I see that he is within EO range. No need to do a validation. It is definitely hostile. There's no friendlies that way. ET out and a rapid rollout to the left. Why? Because if I was close enough to launch, he probably launched as well. And there's a missile. That's why I fired an ET. Fire and forget. Missile is on my 6 and is definitely gaining. Doing some pilot stuff here. That missile is going to be after me. The 120s have gotten buffed up. They are much stickier, and as you can see, it's getting closer and closer. Right there, I managed to use terrain to lose lock, and I am safe. Now, again, always looking at my data link, I can see that guy is still coming for me, but he has not adjusted his course. I'm flying west, that guy is still flying south. He hasn't adjusted, which means that he does not see where I went. Perfect. Let's get rid of him and get Boris over to the final target. Still got him on data link. I'm using vertical scan here. EO target locked, and he's crossing my nose, left to right, right behind the hills. Holding my shot. I've got 77s, ERs, and 73s here. I don't have launch authorization for 77. I'm too close. Got to take a shot. Switching to 73, and Fox 2 close up. Missiles tracking well. Alright, splash, another Hornet. Hey, it's the same guy, poor fellow. Let's take a look at it one more time in replay. Hornet rolls out. I'm in EO mode. He has no radar indication for me. Pick him up, roll over the top. He's diving, switch to Fox 2s, and let's send the R-73 up his tailpipe. He wasn't fast enough to get away, and he had no idea one was coming. Didn't have a chance to flare. Alright. Splash Hornet. Now, the reason my RWR is beeping, there was a friendly to the east who fired an AIM-120 that's chasing me now. Probably fired it on bottom gun, but might have fired on me because we were pretty close together. There's your lesson. Don't shoot into a merge unless you guys have a Fox 1, and we're actually going to see that in just a second. Meanwhile, I need to find my buddy Boris and rejoin with him. Now, I don't see Boris on data link. I know that he is somewhere here in these valleys, and I do call out to him that airspace is clear, no new pop-ups, and that he should proceed towards target. Boris takes the valley that's just in front of me and gets out across the river and heads for the city of Vladikavkaz. That is on my nose. As soon as I cross the mountains, the Hawk batteries and the Avengers starting to lock me. Hawks are medium-range missiles and Avengers are short-range missiles. Mr. Boris doesn't care. He is flying nice and low, and this is giving him a bit of protection from the Hawks. Avengers might see him, but he is being real clever. If you use the trees as terrain mask, you can actually survive. Think of Top Gun Maverick and how they're flying through the canyon, except here the canyon is the trees themselves. Even if they fire a missile at him, if he's in those trees, it's not going to get him. Why? Because it's going to hit the trees, because he's in a natural canyon around the river. Alright, Boris gets over the city, flying nice and low, watching for missiles, making sure he does not get splashed. I'm right behind him, following up, staying a little bit high, trying to avoid missiles on me. RWR is my best friend here. Really good piloting by Boris. Super low, just like a frogfoot should fly. Very nice. Rolls through and maintains course north. I'm about 1 mile behind him, 2 miles behind him. Same thing, here's that city. Now look at the RWR. The RWR is going off. That means things are going to get bad here. And get ready for 2 minutes of hell. I've got aircraft tracking me from the north, and these are fighters. I've got batteries of missiles tracking me from my 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Alright, we're going to go into panic mode here, because this Avenger has spotted me and he's sending a missile my way. SAM launch. There's a notification. I'm looking for that missile. I don't see it. All I got is the RWR. Diving. Things start beeping again once I roll out. Missiles on my 6. Coming in. Whoa! Right under me. Pop flares, and I got lucky there. Whatever maneuver I did just saved my butt. Another launch on my 6. As the RWR goes into dead zones, I will lose the beeping, but there's the missile. I see it visually. Still boosting. Reversing the turn. Hoping that the missile won't make the turn with me. Trying to wear out its engine. There's the rapid beeping. Another missile. This is the third one. Now remember, if you are not level, your RWR might not pick it up. Oh! Notched that Hawk by accident. I was just making the turn perfectly and that Hawk flew right under me. There's another Hawk on my nose. There's a missile launch on my nose. I see the puff of smoke. Roll out sharp left. Missile hits a tree. I am very lucky. Alright guys. That's some serious panicking there. I am super low now. I almost hit the ground. I'm down to I think 3 meters here. The Hawk battery stopped paying attention. It's just behind those trees. I fired a Fox 3 on a target in front of me. The missile hit the mountain. R-73 off the wing. That guy flies true. Splash 3, another F-18 Hornet. Now let's look at the data link. It's in the bottom right hand corner. I'm seeing Boris, but if I look close, I see that Boris is in trouble. There's a second contact right on his tail. Boris doesn't know, and I'm reporting it to him. I'm like, Boris, you got a bandit on your butt. Watch yourself. F-18 is right on his tail and thinks that he's going to get an easy kill. You got to zoom into the data link quite a bit to make sure you get a bit of separation. I'm using radar, it's not helping me. Unable to get lock. There's lock. Bring my nose up, make sure it's an enemy. There is no chance for a shot. Alright, hostiles on my nose. Fox 1 out. Now, if I have that lock and if I hold the lock, Fox 1 flies true. This is the only missile you should fire into a merge. A Fox 1 on an IFF target. Uh-oh. I've got missile launches right next to me. And I'm right above Beslan. SAM missile to the face and plasma is down. But the important thing is, Boris has been saved. And Boris is now ingressing, takes out some of the ground targets and makes a nice loop and tries to go in for a landing. He's taken a missile to the face, he's taken cannon fire to his butt, but Beslan is right there and he can land this puppy. Cuts back on his thrust. There's my fireball over to the left there. Boris is applying flares judiciously as he comes in for a final landing. I almost made it to the runway. Boris geared down. It's a random F-15 trying to take off. Boris goes in for a landing. He's a little too quick. Bouncing on the runway. Hey, he touched down. I think he deserves a win there. Alright, Boris. Well done. Good work. And I just wish he had a little bit more brakes because you roll off the runway and turn into a fireball. Alright, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this flight. There is a music video called Lean On Me that I made out of this flight. A little bit edited, but hopefully you enjoy it. And, of course, as always, comments, likes, and subscriptions are a good thing.